this craziness.
These are some home accidents that we have barely lived through. And again, it's not to the level of losing our house or our lives, though in both incidents, they had potential to be life-threatening.
They could.
And both for us were definitely horrifying. But the first happened during the pandemic when I had COVID for the first time, I believe.
You had it for the first time.
And she is
I had never had
out of
COVID.
her mind about COVID.
Yeah.
And she had not had it.
No, and I did not want it.
She was horrified that I had it. It was like I had leprosy.
Well,
and so
I didn't want to get that from you. Why should I?
I was confined to quarters,
you were
right?
Quarantined
I
in your
was
room.
quarantined in my room.
He couldn't even see Hazel.
I couldn't see Hazel.
I kept Hazel away from him. Well, I don't know if you can get, the dog can get COVID.
Because you are the COVID queen.
I am the COVID queen.
And she is constantly campaigning for masks and against any COVID.
That is me.
So I would have to prep for my show. I didn't miss a show. I just did it from home.
Yeah.
And I am in my room one night. I'm actually lying across the bed, I
think it was a Sunday.
No, it couldn't have been a Sunday. No,
I thought
it was
you were
a
prepping
weeknight.
for Monday.
No.
Oh, it was a weeknight?
It was a weeknight.
You were watching basketball.
Yeah, but I was just scribbling notes for Undisputed.
Yeah.
And I was prepping for my podcast. It was Tuesday night.
Okay, it was Tuesday.
So I'm prepping.
Right.
And out of the blue, it's deathly quiet. I hear, "Oh my God, I cut off my finger." That's what you yelled.
I did say that.
"Oh my God, I cut off my finger." Right. Screamed it.
Right.
You know, Hazel's getting
excited because she remembers that.
She remembers that
She
moment.
remembers that
because it was chaos. Hey! You gotta wait.
Wired her with a little snap.
Okay, a little.
Hang on. Here we go. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. There we go. That's good.
Good. So I am stuck in my room thinking, my wife just cut her finger off in the kitchen. It's just around the corner from my room.
Here we go.
My
there
office.
I was making a lean cuisine pizza, and I had a jar of those little jars of spices. I think it was red pepper flakes, and it was brand new, and it had the plastic around the round part. So I took a scissor. I had bought a brand new scissor, and I took the scissor and I cut it around, and it slipped and it cut my hand right there.
With the scissor.
But I thought I was so out of it. I thought I was cutting the pizza with a pizza cutter, those little pizza cutters. I thought I cut it with the pizza cutter, but it really didn't matter at that moment because the kitchen, which is white, which many people have seen our kitchen because that's where he throws his jersey in the garbage can all the time. It's white and it has little yellow accents, but the cabinets are white. The cabinets turned red with blood that was flying all over. It was like a massacre.
No exaggeration.
It was a massacre.
So I am faced with the ultimate dilemma knowing her.
Right. So I'm yelling. I think I cut my finger off. Oh my God.
You didn't say I think.
Well, I said, oh my God, I cut my finger off.
And so I have to decide, am I going to break quarantine rules and just bolt out of my room? And I said, I have no choice.
So he comes running out of the room, and Hazel now is running around crazy because she sees him. She hasn't seen him in 5 or 7 days. And he's standing there in his basketball shorts and a T-shirt. And I'm saying, go back in your room. You have COVID. But my finger is bleeding all down my arm.
No exaggeration. Blood is everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
It's all over the floor. It's all over the countertop.
The carpet.
Well, we didn't get to the carpet because you weren't there yet.
Yeah,
you hadn't left the kitchen yet. And I said, what are we going to do?
Call the doctor.
I'm going to call the doctor.
Right. So we have a doctor who's a friend of ours, too. And you called the doctor.
I called, and in a maybe 1 billion to 1 shot, he answered his cell phone. What doctor ever answers his cell phone on the first shot?
It was like 7 o'clock, wasn't it?
It was like 7.
Maybe even later, 8 o'clock, or something like that.
And by the way, in those days, I was getting up at 2 a.m.
Right.
So I said, we've got a situation.
Major situation.
And I couldn't see because you were holding your hand.
Well,
and I thought you'd actually cut your finger off.
So did I.
And I'm looking for the finger. And I said, she thinks she cut her finger off. And he said, okay, don't panic.
And then he said, Ernestine, can you find the finger?
Yeah.
And I was just like, am I going to die? Am I going to die?
She thinks she's going to die. And
there's so much blood. I don't even know.
And Dr. Cole said, it's okay.
Right.
I'm going to call St. John's Hospital emergency room, which is his home hospital, right? Has deep connections there. And they will be ready for you when you arrive at the emergency room to treat it.
Right.
And if it requires surgery, reattachment.
That was my biggest fear, that I would have to have something reattached. And I was the blood was so bad that I thought I was losing blood, that I was going to pass out. Yeah. I really did. It was horrible.
Okay, so then
you called my sister.
I called Joyce, and said, "Could you please come? Because here we went again."
Well, he's got COVID, and he can't.
I've got COVID,
back in
and
the days when nobody goes out.
I definitely can't go to the hospital with COVID because they would string me up. Right.
No, this was when you did not go anywhere when you had COVID.
And plus, I'm always under fire from her about the show comes first. And here was the classic case of, I do have to prep for my show.
Of course, that of course would happen. Yes.
So it took Joyce.
So my sister
10
drove
minutes
over
to drive over,
like 100 miles an hour. She lives maybe 3 miles away, 2 miles away, and she said that she drove over without her glasses on, which normally she has her glasses. So she's driving like Mr. Magoo driving. She can't see where she's going. Finally, I'm in pajamas because I wore my pajamas. I was going to settle in for the night. I had my pajamas on, and then I figured I can't wear my pajamas to the hospital. I have to get clothes on. So I put sweatpants on, I think.
And then she tried to put her Uggs on, but she couldn't pull them up. And she said, could you help me? I got COVID.
A coat because it was cold. So I said to him, can you help me? So we're in the hallway. So he says, well, come over here. And the dog is just running, having fun. Hazel's in,
you
skips.
Shouldn't call her a dog. You
don't call her a dog.
Me and you offend her because she's not a dog.
So, no, she's not. She's a human.
Yeah.
She's inside where Skip was watching the game, and she's so happy because she hasn't been in there. She's jumping on the couch and the bed, and she's just having a grand old time. So he helped me, and
I'm trying to pull
he's trying
the
to help
Uggs
me
on.
pull my Uggs, and he pushes me on the carpet.
And
so
she
I
falls.
fall on the carpet with
and
my arm. Blood is everywhere.
Everywhere on the carpet.
Yes.
All over the carpet.
It was
seriously.
Yes, we have a light gray carpet.
As it turned out, she actually cut.
I nicked an artery.
But it was gushing blood.
But it was as if I cut off my finger.
Okay, but she had not cut her finger off. She cut the palm of her hand.
No, I cut here. It was in between my two fingers.
Sort of the.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. Now I can't. It's hard to remember what. I think it was this one. Anyway, so my sister arrives. We drive to the hospital, and I remember saying to Joyce, "Do you think it's really that bad?" And she said. She looked at me, and there was blood streaming down my hand and my arm, and she said, no, I think it's okay. And meanwhile, she said, I was horrified to look at you because there was so much blood. So we get to the hospital. They take me right into the hospital, into the emergency room, and I am freaking out. I've never been this freaked out to the point where my teeth were chattering. I literally was a piece of ice, and my teeth were chattering that I could not stop. I couldn't make words. So the doctor came out and he said, okay, let's just wrap you up like the way you're going to look like a fighter, a boxer. And he wrapped my hand and my arm up. And they finally took me in after, I guess it was like an hour, 2 hours or something like that. And he came over and he said, you need stitches. And the female doctor came over and she said, I think you need about 6 or 7. Meanwhile, my sister calls you and he's like, I'm prepping for the show.
Once I heard the finger was not cut off,
then there's no
then
use
it's just
don't worry
a
about
cut
it.
with a few stitches. We're going to be okay,
right. But
but I did need to hear the outcome. This took a while to get the complete outcome.
Right.
So instead of going to sleep by 9 or 9:30, I went to sleep at maybe 11 to get up at 2.
That's just a couple of late games for you.
Yeah, just a couple of late games.
Not a big
See,
deal.
I made a huge sacrifice because.
Right.
I thought
Thank
finger
God he
was
had
cut
COVID.
off.
Otherwise, he'd have to actually drive him to the hospital, and then you would be really at a loss because then there was a chance you'd have to take off the next day. So you would probably go even with 1 hour sleep.
I would go with 1 hour. I would go with no hours sleep.
No hours sleep. That's fine.
But in the end, you didn't get COVID from me, even though I was still highly contagious. No, but I was more afraid I was
going to get COVID from the hospital. Yeah. Because those were the days when you go to the hospital, you risk getting COVID.
That's true.
And they were putting blankets on me, and I was like, oh, God, am I going to get COVID from the blanket? But I was so spaced out anyway. I really thought they were going to have to bring me into surgery and reattach my hand. That's what I really thought.
Hypochondria.
I am not. He is the hypochondriac.
I am not.
Oh, my God, every 2 minutes there's something new with you. My leg is killing me from running.
Well, I ice it. I put
back.
Stuff
Do you
on
know?
it.
I need another ice pack for my back. I come up with valid reasons of why hypochondria.
But I'm actually hurt.
Well, you're always hurt. That's what I'm saying. You're hypochondriac. You're always hurt.
I work out too much.
That means you're always hurt, but there's always hypochondria going on there.
There's not hypochondria. It's the truth. I'm not imagining.
I'm never
you imagine.
I'm not a hypochondriac.
Well,
except
you always
when
fear
things
the worst.
Well, if something happens, I fear the worst. It's not that
oh my
I just
God,
sit
do I
around
have
thinking
cancer?
about.
I don't think so.
Well, God forbid. I mean, please.
Yeah, please
Whatever.
Is right.
Whatever.
So you got in the webbing of your, between your thumb and forefinger, you got seven stitches. Right?
But how did I know?
Always good. Right?
Then I came home, and my sister came up, and she said, I will help you. It was midnight, 12:30, which I was in New York City. I probably would have still been there waiting for the hospital.
You would have.
Because I have been to hospitals in New York City as an emergency, and you seriously wait in the emergency room probably 7 to 8, 9 hours between their gunshot wounds and heart attacks. And
see, there is some good to LA, right?
You can go to a hospital faster.
Okay.
And my sister helped clean up the cabinets.
Oh, they came back while I was sleeping.
Yeah, it was 12:30.
12:30. So when I woke up, I was shocked to find you were gone, and presto changeo, there was no blood except for the carpet was stained with red.
But then we
got it
that.
cleaned, right?
That was fine.
And we all survived.